I consider to be innovative on behalf of Gseta. The plenary this morning will consist of the four panelists you see above. You will hear from each of them, and the topic that they're going to speak about, or the plenary is going to revolve around, is a local, state, and federal perspective to the new WIOA legislation. In addition to hearing from our panelists, we would also like to hear from you. So I'm hoping that this session will be very engaging and very informative, but most importantly, I really want you folks to feel that you can ask any question that you'd like. We have experts here, and I've been assured and told by them that they will be very forthcoming and honest. And as I said, I think this is something new. This is the first time we've tried this program, but I'm very excited about it. Before we begin and I introduce the panelists, last evening there was a bracelet that was found in the hallway. It's a kind of a green and gold bracelet. And I went downstairs, I had it appraised this morning. It's worth about $260,000. So is there anyone that wants to claim ownership to this? Okay. If not, I will have it up here. It is a very pretty bracelet. It was found in the hallway. I'm to assume it's from our conference. But if not, I have it up here. I also want to remind everyone to, in between the sessions, to please go and visit our sponsors. If you haven't had a chance to visit the sponsors, many of them will be leaving soon. And again, I wanted to thank the sponsors and our exhibitors for their support this year of Gseta. We've had more sponsors this year, and each one of the sponsors that I spoke with and our exhibitors were extremely pleased and looking forward to coming back next year. So let's give a round of applause to our exhibitors and our sponsors. One other housekeeping matter is, I know Ashley had indicated she would like to collect the, we'll be able to give you your certifications for your CRC credits. So if you have all your paperwork, I don't see Ashley, Ashley, okay, in the back there? Okay. Those that did fill out the paperwork, and this conference is eligible for CRC credits, so make sure you see our friends there and get that taken care of. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce each of the panelists and give you a brief introduction, and then we will open it up for some discussions. Our first panelist, immediately to my left, is Joe Dombrowsky. Many of you know Joe. Joe is the Assistant Director of Field Services at Labor, Workforce and Development. He oversees the 400 state staff providing job search assistance at 23 one-stops. Joe started in workforce 15 years ago as an advisor to Assistant Commissioner Joanne Hamill. Many remember Joanne. And since that, he has led the literacy programs, business services, and the now employment services program for the state of New Jersey. Joe. Sitting next to Joe is Jack Patton. Jack is the Director of Morris, Sussex, and Warren Workforce Investment Boards. Jack is also First Vice President here at Gseta. Wow, Jack has over 45 years, when did you start when you were like 3? Jack has over 45 years experience in employment and training as a planner, program operator, monitor, and consultant. Jack is a member of the New Jersey Employability Skills Task Force, the SETC Performance Committee, and numerous work groups and committees. Jack has served as a previous Gseta president in 2007 and 8. Immediately to my right is Holly O'Brien. We met Holly yesterday. We heard from Holly. I'll just remind you, she is the Regional Administrator for the U.S. Department of Labor, Employment and Training Administration, Region 1. And if you didn't hear her speak yesterday, you will know immediately she is from Boston. Sitting at the end of the table, somebody who probably doesn't need an introduction. Many of you know Henry Plotkin. Henry has served as the Executive Director for the State Employment and Training Commission in 1997 until his retirement in November of 2008. Henry serves as he's led multiple efforts, including issues on welfare to work, school to work programs, gender parity, adult literacy, at-risk youth, among others. The New Jersey American Society for Public Administration honored Henry with the Public Administrator of the Year Award in 1999, and our association honored him with the Gseta Public Service Award in 2004. Henry received his PhD and his master's from Rutgers and his BA from Queens College. So now you understand who you're going to be speaking with today, and they'll have an opportunity to speak with you. I'm going to start with Joe, and each of our panelists will have about 5 to 6 minutes to give their perspective on WIOA, and then we will open it up to the audience.
Good morning, everyone. I want to thank Gseta for having me here today. I want to thank Jack Patton and Jeff. We go back a long way, and I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to tell you about some of the things that the Department of Labor is going to do as a result of WIOA. And hopefully, we're going to have your input. We've all heard the buzzwords. We know about employer-driven. We know about career pathways. What I'm going to talk about is some of the actual get down and dirty implementation ideas that we have going forward, and that might pique your interest in that in the future we might need you guys to help us further define. One of the big things that we're doing right now, this week we had a technical assistance meeting for the talent networks. The talent networks are being revamped to be more employer focused. In the original intent of the talent networks when they came out several years back was to engage employers, training providers, and the Department of Labor to create programs that were employer-driven and that would be responsive to the needs of employers. We sort of drifted away from that a little bit, where the talent networks were really providing job seeker services in the one-stops. So now it's a refocusing, going back to the future, and more consistent with WIOA. We are planning a new industry valued credentials review board. What the plan is to move beyond the labor demand list that we currently have, or that currently hasn't been updated in a couple of years, and try to revamp that so that instead of having a labor demand list, have an industry recognized credential list. And we want to make sure that not only is the credentials industry recognized, but they're also in demand, because we want to train people for an industry recognized credential where there's no demand. So marrying the two, labor demand and industry recognized, is going to be kind of tricky, and that's one of the areas that we're going to need your input, your advice, and hopefully practical experience in implementing. Another big initiative going forward is Pathway to Employment. Pathway to Employment is the working title of our plan to have a more unified service delivery and career pathway information out there on the web, but also to provide consistency across people that are doing similar work that we're doing in the one-stops. So, for example, the Pathway to Employment will be used by libraries, will be used by community colleges. The libraries and community colleges have already embraced the concept. So Bob Brimmy and his team are working very diligently towards the goal of introducing the Pathway to Employment. Integrated and aligned service delivery. 15 years ago when WIA came about, we talked about reducing silos, eliminating silos, and we still have silos 15, 20 years later. So the goal, I guess, is to make sure that we're not creating parallel systems, because we no longer have the luxury of having the staff to service people in the one-stop, in ES and WIOA, basically the same type of service delivery. So we have counselors right now in the one-stops, and we hope that those counselors will be working as a team, whether it's WIOA paying their paycheck or whether it's the state of New Jersey paying their paycheck. The one-stop operator should coordinate services and create efficiencies and reduce duplication. So we're going to work strongly towards that goal. And finally, let me talk about our new group that we're forming under John Gseta. John Gseta is a presenter here during this conference, and John will be leading a team providing professional development to state and local staff. He will also be issuing new updated guidance. So right now I think we have youth pretty much covered, but dislocated worker and adult is not really covered. So John's unit, he's going to have 8 staff. They're going to be providing technical assistance, professional development, guidance, and hopefully that will be something that will be a value added to the system. So that's about it. We'll open to questions later. If you have any questions about anything I spoke about, please feel free to ask. Thanks.